Alright. So, guess I gotta take it from the top. So, this is, a fairly common recurrence, it would seem, within this series where I have a theory that it's going to work, and no, it doesn't. Overwolf has betrayed me and failed me once again. I had literally checked it just the other day, and it worked perfectly fine, but I guess that doesn't matter. I was in the habit of checking it every single time before I did any recording. And I stopped because of papers and shit. Didn't record anything for a while. And I got back in, and I thought it'd be fine, given I had just been recording some stuff for Deepstone Crypt's release. And I was wrong. So I have what was probably the most amazing session we've had. At least it was fucking hilarious for us. Gone, because there's no audio. Pisses me off to no end. Maybe I should start setting up my phone to do an audio recording. Or something like that, and then I can. Because the dice adds some coolness, right? It's nicer than looking at a black screen, but if the audio was there, it'd be so much better. So, leading up to this episode, we went and visited the planet that Vitiate is set up on. I will try and include as many minor details as to what happened that session as I can. So there's going to be stuff that has absolutely nothing to do with the game that I'll mention. So for one thing is I kept calling Vitiate Fishtie from another game that I'm in. He's a butler, and I referred to Vitiate by him like 6 times. And we were going to meet the Great Mandalore to try and convince him to give us aid. So we go in, very unlike Talon, he does a little bow towards Mandalore the Great. And everything seems to be going, well, pretty cool, pretty rad. We're talking to him, and basically he wants to know, what is the benefit? Why should he help us? And, we're telling him honor, glory, and whatnot, and so finally he asks, how do I know that you are worth my help? We were waiting for this one. So Talon, of course, challenges him to a duel to prove his worth. Everyone in the party is under the impression Talon's going to get his ass beat. I am too. But I still challenge him to the duel because we have to prove ourselves somehow, and Mandalorians speak with their fists. So we're in the fight, and he comes at Talon with a vibro axe. He slices down and deals, I think it was an 11 damage blow to him. But thanks to Cortosis and my soak, I only took 5. In return, I strike at him with my lightsabers. Sorry, Talon strikes at him with his lightsabers, dealing 13 damage. He leaps back out of Talon's melee range, and starts shooting with his slug thrower. He only deals, I think, like 1 damage with that attack. Talon uses lightsaber throw, and I crit death Mandalore the Great. More accurately, I end his nighed him. That ended the fight then and there. And for role-playing reasons, Mandalore the Great didn't die. But the issue came later. Well, not later, about like 30 seconds later. When we all remembered something about Mandalorian culture. Or rather, like we had discussed it before. If you beat Mandalore the Great in a duel, you become Mandalore the Great. So now Talon is Mandalore the Great, he's fallen to the dark side because of his actions of torturing Kuna. And he now has complete control over the Mandalorians. We decided the old Mandalore the Great, is named Zandu, and he's my buddy now. Just like Rayloff and Alduin, he just can't use force powers. And so we assemble the fleet, and Kuna gets to be the military advisor because Talon doesn't do that sort of stuff. He's not well versed in leadership. So we assemble this massive fleet. We alert the Jedi to this, so the Jedi assemble a fleet and meet us. We go to, I think it's called Zaratros. It's something, Zarados, something like that. I can't remember the name, but it's something along those lines. We're going to this planet that starts with a Z, where Vitiate's located, and we get met by Vitiate's fleet. That is ships full of Sith. Sith ships. Could be a tongue twister. Sith ships, yeah. I'll make Alex try and do that. So we encounter them, and of course, since I'm now the king of Mandalore, I have to talk to this man who is paging us with this fleet. They, hail us. So Colonel now is wearing a military colonel hat, of course. For those of you who don't, for anyone who doesn't know, Colonel is the chicken that I acquired in a past session, the 3-foot tall chicken. And so with Colonel sitting on Talon's lap, he sits in the throne, stroking the chicken. The sort of intimidation, sort of like silent intimidation sort of occurs. Who are you? Silence occurs. What are you here for? Silence. Okay, you have 2 minutes to turn around. 1 minute. Chuckles. Exchanges a glance with Kuna. This is where the fun begins. Kuna cuts comms, and we order all ships to begin firing. Alex was very distraught at this point because we had Vitiate's fleet outnumbered 5-1 in terms of ships. I mean, of course, we can't arguably scale how large the Mandalorian fleet is, but given just off of guessing that plus the Jedi fleet, we had them incredibly outnumbered. So we just start shelling shit. Cadmark now has a very fancy Mandalorian ship. Alex's comparison, because he was calling he said the Mon Calamari. When we had the Mon Calamari, and he was complaining about Corellian ships being better, he was complaining about Fords. He was comparing Fords to a Lamborghini, and he just got handed the keys to an Aston Martin. I'm not a car guy, so I guess it's much better car or something like that. And so he's flying around. Old Cadmark is flying around, fucking shit up. And we just start fighting their fleet. We start to siege the planet, bringing in the ships. As we are entering the atmosphere, there's one dude who is in the cockpit of a ship, and he freezes a couple of our ships in air. We shell the shit out of his cockpit, and we get close to the surface, and we start to bombard the planet. Then from nowhere we feel a immense presence. This presence is extremely dark and evil, and we all assume it's Vitiate. And basically he freezes some of the larger ships in place. So I give the order to have all our ships back out of his range and continue to shell the planet. We take an elite strike team that it consists of me, the party, Stanvat, Talon, Kuna, Alduin, Rayloff, Zandu, Anashta, Jorn, Gorn, Garrick Baran, Adentant Twell, and Clarona Cardiff, and these are some higher level like Jedi Masters that we have. Gillick Braun is a human Jedi Consular, Adam Twell is a Twi'lek Jedi Guardian, and Clarona Cardiff is a Rhodian Jedi Sentinel. And these are like Jedi Masters that are named. I don't know why Alex named them, but they were named, along with Jorn and Gorn. Jorn is a human Jedi Sentinel. Gorn is a human Jedi Master. I don't think Alex realized that Master would. Anyways, so that's our group, and then we have some of Xandu's, on Xandu's recommendation, like his strong Mandalorians, and then some Jedi guards, and the party basically is consisted half of Jedi, half of Mandalorians, because as Talon is now the king of Mandalore, he has to look out for his people, and he wants to make sure the Mandalorians can in fact proclaim that they were the victors here. You know, if it was more Jedi than Mandalorians, you know, it'd be the Jedi who claim victory. But if it's equally Jedi and Mandalorians who kill the big bad guy, the Mandalorians can claim victory. Talon decreed that when the planet of Barab is discovered, them and Mandalore are going to be besties before, you know, any of this happened, before we ended up sieging the planet. So we go down on our strike force. Cadmark is doing barrel rolls and shit. This is all storytelling on Alex's part, because I guess the new the old Cadmark is like super high level in terms of piloting and ship fighting and shit. So we're flying in, briefing everyone, making sure that if they feel any mental issues, they are to say something immediately. And as we're flying down, Cadmark's dodging artillery guns and, you know, destroying them as we're passing them. A ship passes in front of us. We ask, one of the guys asks, are we going over or under it? Cadmark chuckles and said we were going through it, as he blasts a hole, and we fly through the ship. And we end up landing. There's a lot of droids scattered about. Cadmark eliminates the first wave by spinning around the ship before we step out. Some dudes pull up in an anti-ship laser. Cadmark jumps out with the Fat Man and absolutely destroys them. And he sort of sends us all off before taking off himself to go blow up some more guns. As we move through, we get engaged by more droids, because the planet we are on is a factory planet, and it seems to be mass-producing droids for Vishy to use. We had Cadmark mark some like key positions for our ships that were sitting in the planetary orbit to start shelling. And we start making a move forward, so we encounter some droids, and we start to fight them. It goes about how you would expect, because these droids are not particularly high-skilled. We have a fair amount of pretty powerful Mandalorians and Jedi with us, so the droids are no match. They get juiced. Stanvat cleaves 3 of them in half. My group, me, Ralof, Alduin, and Xandu, throw, you know, the Jedi throw our lightsabers and cut off their heads, and Xandu pops them like grapes in the sky. Kuna is just organizing Mandalorians and shit to just start shelling them. And then Anasta is in charge of the various Jedi that we have, and she's just, you know, they're cleaving them in half, pretty much. These are not very powerful droids. Then the ceiling falls in on us, and Kuna is able to react quickly enough to make a leadership check to get all the Jedi to focus their force abilities above us and prevent any of the rocks from crushing us, but also crushing the rest of the droids for the most part. After that, a bunch of, I think it's 5 much larger droids come out in a triangle formation, and we begin to engage them. Pew, pew, shing, shing, and eventually they fall down dead. And I believe that's where we cut off. I am incredibly upset. Because because that was basically 3 hours. Oh, that took over the course of 3 hours. It was fucking hilarious. It was amazing. Talon gave a cool speech that I can't even remember now. Hang on, let me see. I think it was, today is the day that we do war. No, it's that we carve our names into the history of the galaxy. I actually no, I can't remember it at all. But I generically ended up, I ended it with because I'm King of Mandalore now. Today is the day that you show the galaxy what it means to be a Mandalorian. Um, I wish I could remember what I said. Hopefully someone else remembers it. Yeah. Uh, Apparently Talon's pretty good at getting Mandalorians pumped up because he yelled, honor, glory for Mandalore, and the whole ship was vibrating from people chanting it, so that was cool. I'm really upset though. Like, that was such a cool session, and I lost it because I was an idiot and had faith in this software. Yeah. If there's anything else, you'll learn about it in the following, in the next videos, but I'm I'm just absolutely upset. I can't I can't think of anything else. Like, honestly, if I could do some interacting with the labyrinth and go back in time, I'd fucking tell myself to check the fucking session and make sure it was properly recording. Because this isn't entertaining. Like, I know that much. In comparison, this is not entertainment. This is a fucking cliff notes of everything that happened. Well, I guess I'll tell you Talon's future plans and aspirations. He now has a fleet, an entire planet that's willing to fight with him. And, well, after we kill Vitiate... Ooh, I forgot. I was asking about if there was any, identification, that could show that I am the, Mandalore the Great now. And, after some deliberation, Alex goes, "Is the Darksaber made yet?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want the Darksaber. That seems a bit." It's like, "No, we'll just you have the Darksaber now, because we're just gonna say it was made. It's in existence now. So Talon's in possession of the Darksaber. I replaced my A280 gun with 5 basic lightsabers that I have progressively picked up because the A280 gun has long range and it has 5 encumbrance. Well, I have improved saber throw from the sentry skill tree, which means I can throw lightsabers at long range. So it occurred to me that I should just have 5 basic lightsabers lined up that I can just throw at long range. It's like, oh, I failed to bring that one back to me. Well, let's do another one then. So yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah. Really disappointing that I didn't properly record that. Because that was by far one of the most epic sessions we've ever had. And I fucked up. So, I apologize. That's all for now, I guess. Eyes up, Guardians.